you had, like, especially the heavyweights, you had to go through a lot of people. And on top of that, Ali had to alleviate himself from boxing because of political bullshit, and he was still the most dominant when he came back. You took away a bunch of years during a man's prime so that he could stand for something he believed in. So who's to say what he could have done to prime boxers at the time had he not done that? I mean, what's Mike Tyson's legacy? He bit an ear off.
I mean, his uppercut, I think, is his legacy.
Yeah, that may be the case, but Ali dominated people. People said he was never supposed to beat, and he beat them all, and he didn't fucking care. He wasn't apologetic about it. And then when the U.S. government didn't like his fucking stance, he told them to go fuck themselves, and he sacrificed the prime of his career. If we had those years of his career, the same way that Jordan didn't go and chase his baseball dream, do you have any idea what Ali would have been? And that's even saying that now, considering who Ali is anyway.
Okay, so we got two from Muhammad Ali. Dan Beebe, we haven't heard from you yet.
I said Mike Tyson.
You said Mike Tyson. Dan O'Shea, what's your?
I'm so torn on this. I'm definitely leaning Ali. You know, I think Tyson gets the edge in power 100% over Ali. I also think people discount Tyson's speed versus Ali and his defense. But Ali, he just changed boxing. He broke all the rules. He made a new style, you know, like the hands dangling down, just dancing on you. You know, people still say float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
So do I pencil in Ali?
His endurance, his stamina, and as Scott said, the level of competition. And that's not to say that Tyson didn't certainly face some tough boxers. He did, but you know, he wasn't going on and on against Frazier, Norton, Sonny Liston, the Mob. So yeah, I'm giving the edge to Muhammad Ali.
All right, Muhammad Ali moves on. Now this next matchup, I originally had someone had to change it for specific reasons. So the original matchup was Michael Phelps versus Lance Armstrong, but Lance Armstrong got caught cheating. I realized that and changed it to Michael Phelps versus Tony Hawk.
I'm sorry, hang on. Wait a minute. What is the breakdown here?
So the original matchup was Michael Phelps versus Lance Armstrong. Lance Armstrong took steroids, cheated to win his Tour de France. So when I remembered that, eliminated him from the tournament and replaced him with a pioneer in a sport.
With you doing a bracket and we didn't get to see it ahead of time.
I feel like this should have been Phelps versus like Usain Bolt or something. Like, yeah, I didn't know we were doing skating. Tony Hawk's incomparable, and he made it a sport. I don't know.
Dan, is Christy Yamaguchi on this list? Because she's like the Tony Hawk of figure skating.
No, she is not. I also wanted to keep it to...
We're doing skating, I just wanted to check. You know, is Kelly Slater on
No.
here?
Nope.
Is Bodie Miller on here for skiing? I'm just trying to get a sense of where we're at.
Nope.
What about Eddie the Eagle?
Nope. So the matchup, Michael Phelps, the greatest Olympian of all time, potentially, versus Tony Hawk, the pioneer of basically an entire sport.
I'm going to fall asleep from this because it should be fucking obvious. It's Phelps.
Okay.
You get that many gold medals out there. I mean, Tony Hawk, revolutionized the sport, brought it to a mainstream, made video games, did things nobody ever did, but Phelps literally throughout an entire history of the Olympics is the most decorated. I don't feel like that's even remotely an argument.
Okay. All right. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if anyone will get to Phelps' dominance level.
I don't know. Katie
It's
Ledecky
just-
looks like she's on her
it's
way.
an interesting conversation because I didn't think we were doing skateboarding at all.
Did it well high.
Tony Hawk definitely he made skateboarding. So he's definitely, you talk about brand, you talk about, Tony Hawk's pro skater, you talk about any sort of that stuff, and fame and notoriety and everything. That's definitely an interesting angle to come at it. But there are people that can definitely give him a run for his money as far as talent as being a skater. Where I think Phelps, no one can really do that. He's the most decorated Olympian ever, 28 total medals, most gold with 23. He's got like 40 world records. Some of those are team, but he's got like 30 that are individual. He won 8 in a single Olympics, which is, I think, also 8 gold in a single Olympics, which I think is the most ever.
He broke Mark Spitz's record
in the same events.
I'd like to interject one thing. The fact that this is a bracket of GOATs, and in the bracket of GOATs, Dan Snyder decided to put in possibly Lance Armstrong, changed it to Tony Hawk, but excluded Wayne fucking Gretzky.
This might have been more fun.
Fucking embarrassing.
I feel like Usain Bolt should have been Bolt versus Phelps. I think that could have been a cool one. Skating, I don't know. Is that there's some people that wouldn't even say that's a sport. I'm not one of those, but I feel like, greatest, maybe GOAT of X Games should have been a different, kind of category, because Usain Bolt's the fastest person ever. And Phelps is the fastest swimmer ever, so, that could have been really fun. I'm leaning Mike Phelps here.
So we got 2 for Phelps, Tony and Dan Beebe, or sorry, not Tony, Scott and Dan Beebe. Thoughts on this?
Okay. So my vote actually just changed as I heard these other guys talk. At first I was thinking Phelps. Then I'm thinking Tony Hawk literally put an entire sport on the map. And one argument we can make is whether or not anyone's ever going to do what Phelps did. I don't think so, but there's a chance. No one can ever do what Tony Hawk did, because no one can ever put skateboarding on the forefront again, because he did it. So what he did can never be replicated. There's no argument that can be made that someone else can do what he did. Whereas Phelps, who knows, 30
Katie
years from now,
Ledecky is a fucking monster in the pool.
30 years from now, someone could replicate. But then I'm thinking, Tony said something, and it made me realize, the Olympics have been around for so long. So to be the most decorated athlete in a sport that in something that precedes almost every other sport, that goes back to the Greeks, and to be the greatest and most decorated at something that's been around for centuries is probably more impressive than a guy that does kick flips and did it for 10 years and then retired and has lived off of his 10 years of glory. Yeah, so I was leaning towards Hawk, but I gotta go with Michael Phelps now.
All right, Phelps moves on. Dan Beebe, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, it's landslide, but I was going to say Phelps. It's hard to argue those numbers of dominance.
Okay, these next two...
I didn't think you were putting skateboarding in there, but I feel it's more of a recreational thing than a...
Yeah, I mean, if we're putting guys that put sports on the map, is Hulk Hogan in this?
No.
He might be. Just fucking hold your breath.
Nope. So that was the big...
on the map, and that's more popular than skateboarding right
That
now.
was the big monkey wrench. There's a little bit of a small one coming up, but let's move on to the next matchup. Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus.
Tiger.
Tiger.
I mean, I don't know enough about golf, but I gotta say Tiger.
Tiger's just more of a brand, and yeah, it's a product of when he played. Like, you know, Nicholas, the athletes weren't. There was a few and far between, but athletes weren't as large as in life in the era of Nicholas than they are when Tiger Woods came up, because it was right off the heels of Jordan. It was like Jordan was, starting to retire and winding down, and it was like, who's going to be the new face of sports in general? Like, who's that guy that at every SportsCenter episode at the very beginning, when the first graphic you see is who's that guy? It was Jordan for so long, and then Tiger Woods took that spot.
Tiger made golf.
He was there for so many years.
Tiger made golf cool for young people and for people of color. So he changed.
I'm going to add to what Scott said, because Tiger did something that we hadn't seen. Like, exactly what you were going off of, Dan, was Tiger was different. Tiger was so dominant and again, this is the sport I played. I played it today. It is a very difficult game to play, and he was so dominant over people who are also professionals at this sport that it didn't matter. And on top of that, you had somebody who most people hadn't seen playing that sport. It changed everything. It made people want to play golf. It gave a different perspective to anything that was happening, because Tiger was just so good that he knew that there was nobody that was better than him. And this dude dominated for over a decade. And he's coming back, and he just won the Masters last year. Literally, he's the reigning Masters champion.
To be fair to Nicholas, has Tiger caught him in major wins?
Probably not, but given what Tiger was able to do in this short period of time, and the fact
he's got plenty of time.
The fact that
Plenty of
Tiger
time.
isn't
It's an
done.
old man game.
Right, but Tiger's not done. Tiger can
Exactly.
Tiger can win more majors. Actually, I hope he does, because it's going to earn me money against Chuckles.
Okay, so we're going to move on because Tiger moved on. We're actually going to take our last quick break. We're going to do our last matchup, and then we should be able to get through the rest of the field pretty quickly. So let's just push through. You're listening to Dan and Tony Sports. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. And welcome back to Dan Tony Sports. We are going to be finishing off our first round, finish out the tournament, because it shouldn't take too much longer once we get past the first round. So let's just push right on through. You guys ready?
Do it.
Okay. Our final matchup in the first round is a tennis matchup between Roger Federer and Serena Williams.
Better.
Oof, okay, I like that one. Now Federer himself has said that Serena Williams is the tennis GOAT. So that's a